Hello, everyone. We are back for the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown. My name is Rissa, joined here with Fusion. Fusion, how are you doing this evening now? I'm so used to commentating in the mornings that's like.
Oh my god. I am not awake for commentary in the mornings, but I am very awake right now. I'm super stoked because we are going to be seeing Z-tier players representing New Inclan versus seabubbles representing Seabattle, which ITO. So this is very exciting. We've got some exciting matches that have happened so far, and this one is going to be no exception. I feel like, going into this, there's a lot of I feel like people had expectations, especially with like the seeding. Like these teams haven't played against each other before this event, so the seeding was kind of like, oh, we know these players and we don't know these players as well, so we're just going off vibes. But if like the first round is anything to go by, these teams, even from like seed 1 all the way down to seed 8, are way closer in skill level than I think anyone anticipated. Seabubble just defeated the H-Town champion, and Z-tier players, I believe, is coming from winners where they lost to My Little Henlo, the Gatorland team. So we've got an exciting match. Do you have any thoughts about like what we're gonna see here?
I was actually looking kind of how you talked about the seedings. They seem really close. These two are technically what the 5th and 6th seed for this. So, I mean, that's one thing I was kind of looking at. Even though, like you said, though, all these teams technically for winning all of the respective lands that they went to, I mean, I feel like it's all decently close, but still just seeing that these two teams are the 5th and the 6th seed was something I was watching before we came on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, no bias going into this, I swear. Seabubble was the names I think are a little bit different than I had initially. Well, I knew the winners of Seabubbles, Ivy, Mar, Kakioka, and Bubbles. Yeah. My brain blanked out there for a second. Their IGN seemed to be a little bit different, but yeah, they also were the team, well, at least several members of the team. We went to Battle of BC a little before. They won that very handily. So I'm hoping they put on a strong showing here against a whole host of incredible players from the East Coast in Z-tier players. Let's hop into it, Rissa.
All right, taking a look at these comps too. So initially, I mean, I'm taking it all in here. A lot of, weapons that are within the meta. Both teams have that pencil, both teams have a splash, but they do have a couple variants. Seabubble coming out with that that sword and the carbon roller as well, so I think that's going to be something to watch here. And we'll have to see on the other side, there's an Octa Brush. That might be something that can take on those two weapons that are a little bit more different than what typical meta weapons are.
Yeah, I expect to see that roller coming out throughout the set, whether it's this or the vanilla roller. Not able to get any value here as New Inclan is going to storm forward. Z-tier players has this first hold, has the score nearly all the way down to 50. They are getting specials online, but Seabubble has specials coming out on the zone. That red pen with the rain is going to provide a lot of paint pressure, and that's going to allow the decap to move up. Not find any picks just yet, though. Noma on the Zuka helps get one, and Seabubble is going to get back into the zone and get that cap.
Yeah, really great special usage there from Seabubble. Like you said, that rain that came out from the pencil paired with the decap running in with the bubble. Great usage of creating space for their team in order to cap the zone. They have no penalty points as well, and able to take down 2 members on the other team. That other team, Z-tier players, is not going to have that grab and that Zuka to allow them to come back into the zone. So now that Seabubble has the zone, you can see they're trying to push up a little bit more, and in doing so, they're able to take down 2 members again. Wow.
Yeah, all that pressure coming out allows all the chip damage on the ramps allows Seabubble to take out 2 members. Now they're up in the spawn. They're looking to get a spawn camp going. 2 members go down. The jump's going to come back to the zone. It's going to get neutral. There was a flank on the zone from a member of the New England team, and that is going to be Z-tier players with a very sneaky cap with only 7 points remaining. That's a huge penalty to put on to Seabubble. Z-tier players has specials at the ready. They have a hold that they are preparing for, and we'll see whether they're able to make the most out of it.
Neptune here used that crab here initially. It seems like, oh, okay. Yeah. Just taken out by that Zuka there. I was speechless there for a second, but yeah, you can see they were using that crab to maybe try and stall. That way their teammates could get their specials again. That way they can keep holding the zone and get to the point of being able to KO it, at least take the lead. But unfortunately for them, oh wait, no, okay. Amidst all that chaos, they were able to keep the zone for themselves, pushing forward, and now they're pushing forward super aggressively, having those specials ready. There's a good caster ready too, so that could turn out really deadly. It looks like they are going to use that, try and distract that pencil and keep them distracted. That way they can't lead for their team.
Oh wow, the Zipcaster ends up getting shut down. Really good kind of positioning around that corner to avoid that Zipcast. Now, members of seabubble coming back into that zone. That rain has been so helpful at recapping the zone for them so far, but Z-tier players still managing to hang on. It's a 3v3 situation in the middle of the map. The flank on the left side is going to turn the tide in seabubble's favor. Moving up towards the plat. This is the first time I think the roller's gotten a really good chance to like move all the way up in Shark, so we'll see whether Unknown was going to be able to find and pick the crab. Came out on the roof. The Z-tier player is beginning to move back in on the... Oh my god, dropping right onto Anoma's head, but not able to get anything. The penalty is ticking down. It's still a neutral fight in the middle.
Yeah, still neutral fight. Finally, one member does go down. That brush going down on inside on, and now you can see there. Even though they did have that member go down, they're doing everything they can to try and paint the zone. Jump-ins coming into Ren, doing exactly what you want to do if you're a pencil player, trying to just be a beacon for your team. But amidst all of that, they were not quite able to keep the cap the zone for themselves and paint it. So just like that, seabubble taking game 1 of the set.
And a nice showing from them. I think that, I mean, we saw this. So back at Sea Battle, they were the only team that did not win their qualifying LAN. They came in second at Sea Battle. However, they in winners finals they took Pico de Gallo, aka the Arizona team, which is, oh my goodness, I've already forgotten their name. I forget the name they're running with here, but they took them to Game 5 in winners finals, and
wow.
That team, Pepe, Shiny, they are just storming through the bracket right now, defeating everybody in sight. So I think that is really a testament to seabubble's strength, and I think they were really playing well as a unit. We saw them getting a lot of value out of their specials. The bubbles were super well positioned aggressively. I think that the crab was coming out. We saw it kind of just move up multiple times to just get in between Z-tier players and the zone. And I think Z-tier players just was not quite able to get the value they were looking for out of those specials, especially like a Zipcaster, which, you know, you use to harass the backline, just did not seem to find purchase.
That's a good point to bring up right towards the end there, that when they finally got pushed up, Z-tier players finally got pushed up, they did try and use that Zipcaster, but you know, it almost seemed like maybe seabubble just recognized that if they ignored it, it kind of worked out that good for them, because that Zipcaster there that we were watching from their point of view didn't get any usage. So I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, they were not rocking any cooler in this match, I believe, because they had that red pencil. They may swap over in this next one, although I think we did see them playing E-Leader on Sturgeon Tower Control before. So we'll see how Coolerless is really going to fare into the aggression that Z-tier players is bringing to the table. We saw them kind of constantly trying for flanks there. They were able to get like singular picks, not quite snowball it as much as they were hoping for. But we'll see whether or not Z-tier players is going to be able to turn up the heat here, as Storm and T-Tech is going to be swapping over to that S-Blast. We do have a Zap coming out for that cooler on the side of seabubble, and sticking with that brush is 49er.
Okay, I'm actually super interested to see how Mar on that E-Leader is going to be. Like you said, that we had mentioned before this, that they would likely switch to that. So, you know, that's a weapon that's not going to be quite as mobile as a pencil might be, but sometimes if you're just so good at an E-Leader, you can make it work, and this could be a case here.
Yeah, nice stuff. The brush finding 2. That's going to create an opening for Z-tier players. But while this is happening, members of seabubble are actually going to get around that right side, start that tower moving. Not enough to get that checkpoint, though, as they only were able to win a fight on one side of the map. Now, oh my god, Z-tier has them trapped in the corner there. One of them is going to jump out. Storm's going to find the second. 2 members down. There's a pretty big stagger on a map that is quick to knock out. We'll see whether or not Z-tier players is going to be able to capitalize. Storm moving over the top with 49er on that thrush, looking for more. They get that cooler. They are moving forward. They kind of sacrifice a bit of position, but the Booyah is going to come out as the tower moves towards that second checkpoint, and they have they smell blood in the water. They are ready to take this all the way to the goal.
Yeah, you could see as soon as they got coolered up, they were like, all right, let's go, let's dive in. We have this advantage state, and they are continuing to push this, getting to checkpoint 2. They took down the E leader on the other side, but with 3 members going down on their team, it's just Ren left to right alive. You can see Ren is going backwards, going to do exactly what they have been doing here, going in a position to get jumps, and this too is a really good position. It's not too far back that it's away from the objective, so look at this, they're going to be right back in the action. The tower is right in front of them.
Yeah, nice job from Ren using the cooler as a little bit of a shield from the other pencil there. Really smart play coming out, able to get jumps back for her team. So huge stuff. Z-tier players back in exactly the same position they were before, but now in an even better one. The specials are going to be online. The crab is at the ready. The tower is moving to the goal. It's going to get there. Is seabubble going to be able to stop it in time? And they are not. Z-tier players takes game 2 and brings us to game 3 in a tied up set.
Okay, they definitely were, it seemed like they, I don't know, there's so many factors here I'm thinking about in my head. There's the other team having that E leader on their side, but also I think Storm switching over to that S blast. I feel like that was really helpful for them, especially on Sturgeon Tower. It just felt like they were able to really use that over the ledges of the map, and it really helped allow the aggressive members of their team to push forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly found a lot of room. I really like how Storm was using that Booyah Bomb aggressively. You know, you become somewhat invincible when you're in that Booyah Bomb, so getting yourself in an aggressive spot lets the tower move up behind you. That gave space for that crab from Neptune to come out. Just super well positioned, nicely staggered specials. They had everything cooking there, and they were able to get a knockout here. But we are going to be moving on to game 3, no longer on tower control, so I'm not sure whether we'll be seeing something like that blaster come out again. And just this is like a side note, but I wanted to give a super special shout out to Saf and her friends who helped make these shirts. They have logos for like all the different lands, and it was like a huge project where she was making the shirts to give to the TOs of all these different lands to represent it. And I don't know if you can see it. It's gonna be hard for me to turn it to the camera, but it's got like a concert.
What? That's so cute.
Concert playlist on the back. It's very cute.
Oh my gosh,
they're
that is
really
adorable.
amazing.
That's so cool, and I love how it's like, it's shiny. I love the shiny.
Oh my god,
like...
yeah, it's so shiny.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I change my ring light so it's not just like
just blinding us? That's so cool. How thoughtful is that? And being able to like
it's so cool.
all of the individual TOs of all the different lands. So thoughtful. That's gotta love Saf.
Saf's incredible. Saf was doing production for one of the other streams, is going to be commentating, if not is commentating right now, shortly. So that's going on, but we have a super exciting set ahead of us. I'm going to try and curb my bias going a little bit forward here. We're going to be hopping into... I don't think this is Clams on Sturgeon Shipyard, but it should be a Clam Blitz match. So we'll see how these teams are going to really like adapt to this one here as we move to, yes it is, okay, Clams on Umami Ruins. Definitely a map that you can, oh, it's scorched, excuse me. Thank you. I looked it from the top and I saw desert and I was like, oh yeah, I know this one.
Just the color of the map, yeah.
Thank you. Shoutouts to Rice streaming this match. We're hopping into this. We are actually going to be seeing Storm on that S Blast yet again. Found it very useful last game. We'll see if they're able to get as much value this game. As seabubbles takes an early 2-player advantage, and oh my god, they are storming into the base. They have a power clamp at the ready, and things are starting in a jiffy here.
Yeah, as you said, okay, I'm gonna try not to be biased. And then all of a sudden they just come out just absolutely popping off here, getting their clams all the way down to 59, and they're still continuing to hold under Z-tier players' basket, getting a few more clams in there. Marg, you know, was right there, was like, hey, I'm just gonna get these clams in even though I'm gonna go down. Might as well score some clams in while I'm at it. And now finally, Z-tier players does get a complete wipe onto seabubbles. Now it is their turn to go ahead and take mid here. They still have plenty of time to make something happen. They don't need to rush this as they are now getting mid, trying to get their specials ready too before the other team does so they can get a push in hopefully.
Yeah, Ren now with that pencil, it's going to cool up that crab. Neptune looking for a pick with this crab. They're not going to be able to find it. The rain kind of forcing them to go back into the ball form there. Oh my god, this decaf on top. I didn't realize how tricky it was to play around like a sword up on top mid, but Z-tier players having a very difficult time moving towards the plat, but trades are coming out from both sides, so it seems like Z-tier players is kind of just waiting for the perfect opportunity, and with that nice direct from Storm, they may have found it. Here they go. Z-tier players turning up the heat, moving towards the enemy plat. They have a decent number of clams at the ready. They get a couple picks, but while that's going, I think a couple members of their team went down to seabubble, so that push is going to be snuffed out.
Yeah, that push was snuffed out, and mid here again is that blue color of seabubbles as Mar here on that red pencil is holding mid. You can see they're trying to, you know, scope out what's going on ahead under the other team's basket, helping relay messages to their team. And their teammates are going to go ahead and push forward, open up the basket again. Anoma here has some clams. They're going to score those in, while their teammate came up behind them to score an entire power clam. So now their points are all the way down to 21. Z-tier players is going to have to just stay on the defense, and it's looking like it's working out well for them. They have to play this retake of mid, though, a little bit carefully, Z-tier players. They have to make sure there's paint enough for that S-Blast to be able to move, and just help their team move forward. Otherwise, they won't be able to move forward as much as they would like.
Huge stuff. The pencil getting a pick on that power clam, meaning Z-tier players have to turn around in order to get that score, and the stagger just keeps coming out. The rate is going to force Neptune to have to get out of dodge. 49er looking for a way in, but man, it feels like they have not been able to really get at that backline from seabubble just yet. Mars staying alive constantly. 2 members down, now onto seabubble. This is an opportunity. 49er moving in, is not going to find an opening just yet, but really wants it. And it is going to force the brush back. Z-tier players just is waiting for their chance. They just need those picks if they can get them, but every time they attempt it, multiple members end up getting snatched out from under their nose, and it doesn't seem like this push is any different. They're going to have to back up and try yet again.
And once again, having to back up, jump back with their clam, and try and get in a position where they can reassess what they need to do. It's like you said, every time they get in a position where they're pushed up, so close to getting under seabubble's basket, all of a sudden they have one member go down, and that completely cuts down any momentum that they had. So, you know, what is it that they need to do in order to break past that point?
I mean, it feels like they're super aggressive, but they are just not ready for the drop from either the decaf or the roller. Every time they drop, they manage to get value out of it, and that is not spelled anything good for Z-tier players thus far. Oh my goodness, these decaf finding 2 incredible picks. Now they're trying to build yet another power clam. They want this game over. They don't want to leave things to chances. We tick down to the final 30 seconds of this game. They don't have enough. They barely have enough to break the penalty. If they get some clams in mid, they could extend it, and they just continue to find the picks, but nobody has the clams just yet. This should be enough, and seabubble, wow. Dominant game 3. They are going to go up 2-1 in this set.
Man, I kind of honestly thought that Z-tier players switching over to that S-Blast was a really big factor in the success that they had in that second game, but it seems like maybe with Mars switching back over to that pencil, it really allowed them to have the ability in order to be able to take on that aggressive play style that Z-tier players had there the second game.
Yeah, I mean, Z-tier players is doing their best to try and move up aggressively, but it's like there's just a brick wall that once they move up aggressively, they're not finding the picks. Either members of seabubble are backing up, or they kind of push up and the backline gets singled out while they're not looking. And I mean, I want to just talk about this decav. We saw constantly the decav is a like absolute master of trading at the very least, and that has really shut down a lot of pushes. Especially they've been like one of the primary ones dropping into Z-tier players and finding a pick, forcing them to slow down. And if that doesn't change, Z-tier players is going to have a difficult time winning this set.
Absolutely. I'm very curious going into this next game. You know, this could potentially be a make or break game for these for Z-tier players here. If seabubble is able to win this, then that'll be the set. So I'm very curious what their thought process is, and I'm sure we'll see it here going into the next game. But as a commentator and a viewer, I'm just like, oh, okay, what are we gonna cook up?
Yeah, I'm interested as well. I do think that S+ was a big factor. However, I think it wasn't as big a factor on a mode where like that Booyah Bomb standing in front of the tower doesn't just give you free objective, where blasters aren't quite as like oppressive as tower control. You still need to play them like every other weapon in the game for space and whatnot. They were not quite able to get as much value out of it this time. But, you know, creating those openings for, I think, 49er on the brush is going to be a big thing that Z-tier player needs to do, and I think they need to protect Ren a little bit better. I feel like they've been kind of leaving her a bit alone when they move up, and that's kind of cost them a bit. They just need to be aware, check the drops, because seabubble wants that pick, like no matter what. Either the carbon or the decav have been constantly dropping to try and shut things down, but I think they still have a chance, and they're still in this. They just need to, I guess, adapt in terms of like how they were playing this game, play a little bit more, protect the president.
That's a good point. Now that I'm thinking about it and you know, reassessing how they were playing, absolutely. Okay, so headed into game 4 here, Z-tier players versus seabubble. Taking a look at these comps. On the side of seabubble, I don't see any major changes. Nope. And then on the other side, for Z-tier players, okay, Ren actually switching over from the pencil, and Storm going to be switching over to the T-Top.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that the edit's going to allow Ren to kind of protect herself a little bit better, but stray bombs are going to get an early advantage at least in space. Well, stray bombs and I guess Azuka on the other side are going to leave things in a trade situation. Things are flying all over the place here. Both teams scramble to try and find that opening, and that crab, I think, is going to create the opening that New England is looking for here. They find a pick. All of seabubble is stuck at that drop. There's the grab. Here they go. Z-tier players running towards that first check.
There they go. They are going to go ahead and jump that Rainmaker at that first checkpoint. You can see Neptune here is trying to lead the charge, create some space. That way they can grab the Rainmaker again, push it forward, and just like that, with the point that was created there, they were able to get down a few more points on the board, getting their score down to 42, though they did get completely wiped. So as they come back, they're going to have to be on the defense. Look at this. Anoma immediately rushes into mid, uses that Zuka, and shuts down any type of setting up that Z-tier players is trying to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Anoma's kind of had eyes like a hawk throughout this set. You saw on Hagglefish, we saw them kind of turn right towards someone who was sharking and hit them in the face with a Zuka. So that again, coming out here as seabubble is going to get that check. They find 2 picks. The decap comes in, finds 1. It turns the crab's attention. The rain is going to come out. This likely will be lead. The crab is not going to find the pick. It gets an extra 20 points on the board. And Z-tier players now fighting for that Rainmaker. Members of seabubble are jumping in back on that left side, but likely the rain might be reset here if they do end up grabbing it. No, it is not. They try and make a dash for the Rainmaker, but they're not able to get it. Extra point on the board, but this appears to at least be the end of the push for seabubble. That's a huge point advantage for them. Difficult to get all the way down to 20 here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the longer that they kept it over there, the more it made Z-tier players, thinking about defense. They're not thinking about pushing since they're just trying to guard the Rainmaker. So finally this time, they do go ahead and grab the Rainmaker, and it looks like they're just going to try and push it into mid as much as they possibly can. Pushing it up this left path here, gonna be maybe, I think maybe they were expecting to just grab the Rainmaker. That way the other team couldn't grab it, but Neptune now here holding the Rainmaker, and actually they're able to take down the decab on the other side. So if they play this carefully, they can potentially make something happen, but they just have to play this so carefully. The other team has all this time to get their specials ready, exactly as we saw the Bazooka go on.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Rain just kind of going ahead, trying to get some points, let the rest of the team use that cooler to get jumps back in. The Crab is at the ready. They're going to try and clear off top left. There's a Carbon right in front of them. Hits them over the head with that Carbon roller. Now 49er in the backfield trying to find a pick. They're just barely not going to get that pick on Noxtella, and the Rain is going to get reset. So a big swing from the tier players, but not enough to take back that lead. Now, just a minute and a half in the game, the tier players is facing elimination as they find themselves down in the final minutes of this Rainmaker game.
Okay, so seabubble here grabs the Rainmaker once again, and remember, the longer that they are in charge of the Rainmaker with that lead all the way down to 20 that they already have, the harder it's going to be for Z-tier players to even think about getting the lead for themselves. I mean, they can really just play a stally game here, just make sure they constantly are in control of the Rainmaker as we go into this last minute. And seabubble able to take down 2 members of Z-tier player. Z-tier player doing everything they possibly can here to get on the defense and try and get the Rainmaker. They still have a minute left, but they are down 3 members, so it's going to have to be a Hail Mary here as seabubble runs the Rainmaker forward, gets it all the way down to 7, so close to dunking it.
Hold up, that was a Mar flank. The pencil flanked around the right side while everything was happening, or they got up there somehow, clearing the path. Nobody saw them coming all the way behind the Octobrush there, and manages to get a key pick that lets that Rainmaker get grabbed and dunked. Incredible stuff. We saw, I think, a really strong showing from seabubbles representing Sea Battle here. And they are going to be moving on, I believe, to losers semi-finals, where they will be facing Glub Glub, just coming off of a victory over No Boys Allowed.
Ooh, okay. I love the graphic that we have here. That way we're able to pull up that and see. Okay, great. So Glub Glub versus Seabubble. Ooh.
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 A Prickly Pear. That's the name there that the Sunset Surge team is running with here. Yeah, that is with Blopware. That's right. But this should be a very exciting match because again, Glub Glub was the team Storm was on, but opted to represent Z-tier players. So huge stuff coming out from Glub Glub so far, winning 3-0. Not going down 0-3 to Prickly Pear, but Prickly Pear very, very strong as they've shown so far. I believe we have the winners finals match going on over on the other, or on, I think it's just SplatoonTourney 1. So, yeah, that's going on in the meantime. But this is a really interesting match. Seabubble definitely outperforming their seed here, but like I said, they took what was effectively Prickly Pear to Game 5 in winners finals at Sea Battle. So we'll see whether or not, or we'll see like how that really can compare to what Glub Glub has done so far, because they are a very strong team with a lot of really, really well-known names. I mean, you've got Balloon, you've got Keen Says, Good Morning, SS Nolan, and Nilla. Multiple members of Good Morning, Balloon, Nilla. Just such incredible players and community figures who have just been at the top level of the scene for a long time. So a big hill to climb if Seabubble wants to continue. Glub Glub just looking so strong in this tournament so far.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Prickly Pear is like, essentially the team you were saying that won Sea Battle, right? And they went through. Yeah, and they're 3-0 over Glub Glub. So it's like, maybe we'll see. We're gonna have to see. I mean, Seabubble was on fire there when we were watching them. They really started getting a lot of momentum. But moving forward, like you said, Glub made up of a lot of really strong players. You know, it's one of those situations where it's like a pickup put together, but also good morning members. So a lot of notable players and strong players. I don't know. It's gonna be fun.